CSS is the key to creating an aesthetically pleasing look and feel to your website. Remember, the HTML is for the content, it's like the skeleton, and the CSS is for the decoration, the style. It's what makes it look good. For example, on the site CSS Zen Garden, all of these examples have the exact same HTML content, but different style sheets, different CSS. So if we look at a few of them, right, here's one. Looks completely different. Let's look at just a few more of these. And you'll see you can get completely different looks and feels based on the CSS that you use, which is pretty cool. So today's project will be to do just that. You're going to go to 3 style sheets and take this zip folder. So I give you the HTML content, and you're going to create 3 different style sheets, and I will attach each and just look at your different style. Now you want to make sure and make different changes to your layout. So don't have it all, don't just change colors, but actually make things different sizes and move around. Change text, change effects, and other things like that. So you're going to take that folder, which is a zip folder. You need to right click on it and unzip it or extract it. And when you open it up, it's going to look like this. You got your HTML page, which looks like this. Not much to it. And then you also have 3 different style sheets already in there. They're blank, but you can attach them each as you're working on it. So let's go ahead and open this up inside of brackets, and we'll go for it. So I'm going to, first of all, we got style sheet 1 already attached, and then when you do 2, you'll just change that to a 2 and then a 3 for 3. So we're going to come in and, once you have got your main layout for the first one, you can copy the code and paste it into 2 and then make changes from there, so you don't have to repeat everything if you want. But let's go ahead and do this. So everything's done in here. We don't really do much. We're just going to go into the style sheet itself, which I probably should open. So let's right click on that and open it with brackets as well. So here it is. So we can just start doing things like .h1. So let's go talk to the header. Just give it a color of something. I don't know. Oh, whoops, not .h1. It's not a class. There we go. And we've got that. And you can change it to whatever you want. Just for now, let's just tell it to be red, right? And then we need to come down. We need to talk to our nav. So let's see, how's this set up? So we have UL, LI. Great. So now they're stacked that way, and then I can come in and maybe spread them apart slightly. So I'll put a margin on the right of, 12 pixels, spread them out a bit, maybe even a little more, something like that. Font size, make them a bit bigger. I'm going to make mine pretty hideous. Try to make yours look good, right? They're going to be aqua for now. Oh, that's really horrible. Let's Dodger blue. That looks a little bit better. All right, and you're working from there. Next, let's do our main content section. So if we look, what is it called? We've got main content. Now you may need to use divs, right? So here I'm going to create a div, and I'll call this main. This is my main content, and I need to put that at the end. So I'm going to take my closing div after this section, and I have a right column down here. So let's start a div there. And this will be, I'm going to call that right. I'll close it at the end. Down here we need to probably put a div on this as well. Div, call that footer. And there we go. So let's see what else we can do here. I'm going to surround my navigation. So I've got this all broke up into pieces so that I can control it individually. So there's my nav, and then my H1 is probably fine. Let's do it. Call that header. So we've got all of those split up into individual pieces. If we save that, you'll see it a little bit better. So we've got a div for our header, we've got a div for our navigation, a div for this main section of content, a div for our right column, and a div for the footer. Now I can control them much, much better. So if I go back into here now, I'm going to make them all have a color just so I can see what I'm doing. So my header, dot header, I'm going to say background color, whatever, bisque or something like that. Right? And is that what I called it? Header, it is. All right, let's come down here. Let's say dot main. Let's see, dot nav, it was next. Background color. Whoops. Azure. Dot main. And it seems to be no longer functioning. So let's see what's going on. Oh, I didn't end up saving. I'm over here in my HTML. So if I save that, you can see it all takes place and come back over here. So it's working. Background color, let's make it something a little different. We'll go beige there. And I'm just turning them different colors so I can kind of see what they look like and control them as I go. Called that one right. This background color. What else do we got in the list here? Burley wood. All right. Okay. Don't forget to close them. Looks like I've forgotten a few times. And then finally we have the footer. And we'll give it a background color. What do we have left? Let's go dark gray. That'll work. So now they're all split up into pieces. And now I can start designing my layout. So I'm going to go to the main section here, and I'm going to say width, and I'm going to tell it to be 70%. All right, and then I got my right side here. Maybe I want it to be 30%, right? And I want it to stack up here on the side. So I'm going to go here to my right, and I'm going to float it to the left. And you can see how that kind of messes it up. So I'm going to take that actually. I'm going to take that, my float, and I'm going to float my main content to the left. And then we'll try the same thing here. Let's actually make this just a bit smaller just to see if it works. Okay, let's float that to the left as well. All right, and you can see now that I've floated them both left, they're both there. Let's make that back to 30 and see how it looks. And you're going to have to adjust your percentages. Even though that's 100, if I give it padding or margin, I'm going to have to adjust those percentages. But currently it's working fine. The reason my floater is floating up under, or my footer's under there and looks weird is because the float is affecting it. So I can come in and I can say clear both. You could say left or right, but I'll just do both. So it'll clear the float from above it so it doesn't affect the footer. And maybe the footer's a little small for us. We want to say height and give it, 100 pixels or something like that. Make it a little fatter, maybe 50. Great. And maybe we want the text. Text is now in the center. Font size, let's make it just a bit bigger. Something like that. That's great. There it is. And that looks pretty good. So let's, now we can really get into fine-tuning this. So maybe we want to change the navigation. a little bit. Well, let's do that. Let's go to, in fact, let's go to the header. Let's go center the text there. Text align, center. We want that definitely bigger, right? So we'll do font size, and let's make that like 40 pixels. And we want to change the font family as well. And we're going to make it impact, so different thing, right? Maybe we want a text shadow on it. Sorry, we got green under there. There's white. There's black, right? So it's 2 pixels offset by 2 pixels, and then you got a color. So we got a little shadow on that thing. You know, maybe we want to round the edges. Border radius. Let's do 25 pixels, and you can see that rounds the edges. Maybe I like that, and I'll leave that like that. For the navigation, let's go in and do some things to that. Text align. So now I'm all of it's in the center, which I like. Maybe I want it a little bit bigger. $18 pixels is great. In fact, let's go a little bit bigger. 22, great. Font weight. Made it bold. It looks good. And maybe I don't actually want a background color on that, so I'll take that out. Main content here. Let's change the size on this as well. So I'm just going to copy and paste that, and maybe we just want that to be somewhere around 16. So it's just a bit bigger. Actually, let's go 20. That looks decent. Now, right, these are different widths. We can change that easily. Let's just take the color completely off of it, and maybe we'll do something like a border. And remember, you need 3 parts to a border. You need color, style, and size. So I'm going to say I would like a 2 pixel. And in fact, let's just leave. Let's see. Yeah, border. Oh, let's leave the border off this, actually. Let's do the border on the other one. So I'll take the right column off, the color as well. So I'm going to do a 2 pixel dashed, or you can do dotted, solid, whatever. And I want it to be, right? And the reason that it pushed it down here to the bottom is because I got 70% and I have 30%. And this border takes up 2 pixels, so it's over 100%. So if I change this down, and I'm not exactly sure where, 28, that'll work, it looks like. 28 works fine, and there it is. We got this over on the side. Maybe we want to do the same sort of thing for our main. So let's go in there, let's give it something. We'll change it to solid, right? Okay, so you got 2 different columns, which is great. And then we could, there's lots of things we could do. What else do we want to do? So their layout's good, right? We'll call that good for now. Well, and let's do one more actually. Inside of the main section, let's justify our text. Text align, there's justify, which will make this end on the right and the left in the same spot. Kind of fill it out like that. All right, and maybe we're like, oh, those are too close. So I go over here to the right side, and I want to put a little padding around it. I want 10 pixels, right? And that's going to push it down. Once again, you can see that 10 pixel border that it just added. So there, I actually need to come in and change this again. So let's change it down a bit, see if we can make it fit. There it is. Let's change this. There we go. Now I can see it. I had it as white. All right, so you've got a couple of different borders, and they're touching. Maybe I don't like that, so I want to come to the main section and give it a margin on the right of 10 pixels. And there we go, right? It fits. It looks decent. Maybe I want some space below the right column on the bottom. So I go margin bottom and give it 10 pixels, right? And that pushes that down. And you can see how we're just constantly pushing and moving things around. But there's my layout, right? And since we've done percentages here, this will actually kind of flex as we move it, which looks pretty decent. We need to make our nav actually work. This is maybe the last thing here. So if we come back in, we can see these are currently just a class. We don't have anything here. So if I say h ref equals, and if I just put a hashtag in there, it should make it function temporarily. So I can take that, and if I just paste that in front of each of these, and paste that behind each, now you can see there's underlined. It's actually a hyperlink. So I could come in here and find my, let's see, we've got ULA and then LI. So if I come in here and talk to my links and I say anything that's in a nav section and it's a link, I want to text decoration, and let's just say none. All right, get rid of those underlines. And then maybe we also want to do a hover state. So .nav a hover, and I say color aqua or something, or just blue will work fine. So I save that, I hover over them. They should change, but they're not changing. Let's try something else. Not currently functioning. What's the problem? Now you get a troubleshoot. Here comes the phone. So this should turn orange, and it's not. And I'm not going to worry about it. So, but anyways, point is, get your layout how you like it, and then you can copy and paste a lot of this into your style sheet number 2. Once you open that inside of brackets, and then just make changes, right? Make changes to the title, the background image if you have one. Rearrange the columns, maybe have them stack or change the widths, change the coloring. So make several changes so you get completely different looks and feels, but feel free to copy some of the content from your other style sheets and I'll just attach each of them individually as you go. So have fun with it.